Felix is going to approach Vieno sometime in private. So, Vieno, I have a bit of a question. Um,
Yes,
you
what
have
is it?
you're pretty good at making items, right? Or finding good magic items to use, right?
Yes, I make most of my items, yes.
Do you have anything that I could possibly use as like a weapon? Something I
Hmm.
could use from range?
Would you have any ideas?
Uh, Nothing at mind. I'm a pretty good shot, but I'm not sure if I want to use a gun.
Hmm. Well, I could come up with something. Ooh, what do you want that weapon to do?
I don't know, maybe stun or just uh incapacitate someone.
Hmm.
Maybe
I
do
can
some
work with.
damage, but non-lethal. I don't really want to kill anyone.
Hmm. I think I can do something that could work as a stunning weapon. Yes.
Preferably something with a bit of range on it.
Yes. Of course. I think I can work with that. What kind of item
Oh.
would you like it to be?
Hmm. Oh, preferably something range. So
I don't think it needs to be actually ranged item to use. It could be
yeah,
like the ring I gave you.
yeah, but I kind of prefer to be a bit ranged because I am not good at close quarters, and I am somewhat
Yes, I know
decent
that,
at.
but I can make that item make sure that that item works as a long range. I could
Oh,
make a ring that would work as a long range weapon, basically.
oh, that would actually be pretty convenient if it could work like that. Yeah, that'd be really useful just having it as a ring.
Hmm. Yes, I think I can
I,
do
ne-
that.
I nearly forgot I still have that ring that lets me fix items. Completely
Of
forgot I
course.
had it.
Hmm. Well, I have something else to work on today.
I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to do it in your own time. I know I don't want to take up too much of your own time, especially considering you're spending so much time researching the rings.
Oh, don't worry. I don't think this will take that much of my time.
All right. Thanks, Viano. I appreciate it.
Of course.
VNO, you have your laboratory, whatever you want to call it, set up specifically to do some testing on these hoops that you've been finding. Can you describe for me what your lab or office looks like, VNO?
Well, it would look like some kind of chemist lab from from normal people's point of view,
Okay.
because that's what everybody here thinks I am. Chemist and some mechanical tinkering as well.
Is it orderly? Is it messy?
Oh,
Is it...
very much messy.
It's super messy.
Yes,
So there's just random junk, documents, books, papers, what, all over the place.
yeah. He mostly keeps everything that not completely messed up. That not chemicals won't hit his papers or anything. He does keep everything in an orderly mess, you could say. That every type of papers are in one corner in a certain kind of mess, and all his tools and equipment are in another corner in a different kind of mess.
We'll say the three of you go into his office. Would you guys have been in his lab before? Would you have been there before? Or is this your first times?
Not unless he invited me before, because I can't enter anywhere I'm not invited.
So Felix has been in the lab before.
Let's assume that Celeste has not been here before, but she just got invited. And Michael, yes, no?
No way.
All right, Michael's been staying far, far away
Stay
from
away
all of
from
your-
the smart people thing, the eggheads. Yeah, I'm with the agents and over there.
All right. So you're coming into his office for the very first time, and you see this mess, or however you want to interpret it.
This is exactly how I expected things.
It's not as messy as the messes Rodney can get up to. I'll say that.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not that kind of person to keep.
Miss Good teaches
Kind
would
of
have had a heart
orderly.
attack at this.
So, what kind of experiments have you been running on the rings? The hoops, whatever we're calling them.
I hope you've been taking proper security measures.
Of course, I have been doing a lot of research onto my hoop already. Before I ever met you. So I know how to work safely with these rings. Supposedly.
I remember when I put the cancel ring on my wand alongside the Taurus ring, and I felt a bit more. I felt a bit more power from my wand then.
Yes. I was thinking about how the rings would work if they were to combine together.
Well,
And could I have your ring for a moment?
yeah, sure, you can borrow it. Felix says before taking off the ring and handing it to him.
He will take it and attach it to his own wand. Now, I would like to try and activate both of the abilities of the rings.
Just roll me a use magic and just don't fail. Just don't crit fail.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't fail.
Okay.
I was like, yeah.
Everyone in the room will see Vienno disappear. And Vienno, while you're invisible, you can activate the ring or the hoop, to basically undo the last 5 seconds. Although only you are going to be able to perceive that.
Yes. That's a difficult thing to pull with this thing that it can do at the same time. I would try to take one of my tools from my tool table, walk to that table and pick it up, and waiting for it to land on the ground, and then reverse it so it is in the air still.
You'll be able to do that.
And I would still be would everybody still see me to be invisible at the time?
Correct.
Okay. So the hoops can be used at the same time. I become
that's good.
visible again.
Wait, so are you able to turn invisible, rewind 5 seconds, and still be invisible?
Yes, so it seems.
Well,
I hate to say it, but that could have some very interesting uses.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Very dangerous uses.
Yeah.
Do we know what
You could make it
happens?
so that you could potentially make it so that you were never actually seen. If you were, if someone sees you, you could turn invisible and then immediately rewind time, and you're still invisible.
Or
It
even
could work
so,
like that.
if you're trying to sneak into some place while invisible, and you mess up, you trip an alarm or you bump into somebody, you can rewind time and avoid it in the future. That would be very useful for spies.
Oh yeah.
Vienno, during your studies with a hoop, you do determine that there is limitations to how far you can rewind time. It seems that the maximum number of seconds you can rewind is 10. That's the max that you've been able to. And once you rewind back 10 seconds once, you can't rewind back that same 10 seconds again. So in other words, you can't keep redoing over and over and over again.
Yep.
So that currently seems to be the cap limit, is 10 seconds at most that you can rewind and
Yes.
and redo.
Well, I can only do it to the same object once and a maximum of 10 seconds. I can't redo the same thing all the time. If I do the same mistake again, I can't undo that.
Yeah.
Do we know what happens if the link is used by somebody who's, I don't know, opposed to the client side that it is?
The power would be very much limited.
Hmm.
Maybe only few seconds rewind.
Hmm.
Same as my invisibility would be reduced to how often and how long it would work.
You've determined, VNO, that for someone like you who's compatible, because you're also Capricorn, correct?
Yes.
For someone like you who's compatible with your hoop, you are able to remain invisible for a total of 10 minutes at a time between, quote unquote, a long rest. So you cannot stay invisible indefinitely. You can stay invisible cumulatively throughout the day, a total of 10 minutes between long rests. However, if you are not compatible to the hoop, that reduces down to a minute. If you're not compatible.
All right.
Is that with one of the corresponding ones, or like somebody who's completely opposed to it? Because there was like the ones that are compatible, partially compatible, and then not compatible.
Correct. So if you are not compatible at all, you can stay invisible for a minute.
Okay.
If you are compatible, you can stay invisible for 5 minutes. If you're super compatible, you can stay invisible for 10 minutes. So for the Taurus ring, if you are compatible, let me start with compatible, you can rewind back time 5 seconds. Super compatible, you can rewind back time 10 seconds. Not compatible, you can rewind the last 3 seconds. So that's the limitation.
Okay. Well, this is all very good information to know. It'll be useful in the future.
Because
Yes.
I wonder how many other people know about these things.
Well, there's got to be about 9 more that we don't know about. And we do know that VNO had got one from a Death Eater, so we know some bad people know about them.
Yes, it's not good.
I think it's in our best interest if we try and keep an eye out for these rings. Like, I'll even spend some times just trying to divine the location of some of them, but I don't know how much success I'll have.
I mean, I can ask some of my people to try and keep an eye out for them, but I don't know how successful that would work. They're
I
not
think-
made for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think the less people who know about the rings, the better.
Yes.
Depends on the people.
On the Discord server, I just sent you guys a link to the compatibility chart that we are using for these hoops. They're not completely 100% accurate to some of the other compatibility charts you might find online. This is just something that I adapted, and it's mostly accurate to most of the compatibility charts I've seen online, but I altered it a little bit so that it's more symmetrical.
Ooh, look. Looks like I am not compatible with the Sagittarius ring, so no flying for me.
Neither am I.
Well, actually, you're super compatible with the Sagittarius ring.
Wait, where am I? Hold on.
You're
I
a
was
Libra,
looking at
right?
the wrong one. Yeah, I was accidentally looking up at Virgo.
Yeah, I'm the Virgo. You're the Libra.
Yeah. I'm super compatible with a lot.
VNO, could you please roll me a knowledge astronomy?
That's a 9.
You did a little bit of astronomy research, and you found out that all of the zodiac symbols are said to pertain to specific magical powers. And I didn't just make that up. This is actually a real thing. If you look up zodiac magic powers, you actually get some results for this. So, this is back in the day when Google was kind of a thing, kind of, sorta. So maybe it might be a little bit harder for you to just look this up. But
Yeah,
what you have
libraries.
determined is Aries is said to provide the power of fire manipulation. Taurus is said to provide the power of time manipulation. Gemini, the power of shape-shifting. Cancer, the power of healing. Leo, the power of superhuman strength. Virgo, the power of precognition. Libra, the power of telepathy. Scorpio, the power of mind control. Sagittarius, the power of flight. Capricorn, the power of invisibility. Aquarius, the power of water manipulation. And Pisces, the power of astral projection.
Well, I have a good idea what other hoops can do, and I pull out a chart that has all the zodiac signs with the basically have the competitive chart plus added to the top what magic ability the
So he has a
hoops
chart.
could have.
He has a
That
chart that
zodiac
shows
sign.
everything that I
Yes,
just told you.
I have a chart.
Felix actually kind of laughs when he sees the Virgo one. Well, that's kind of redundant for me.
I definitely laugh at the Libra one.
We already have people who can do some of these things,
Yeah.
but still, these are very powerful rings if these are what they can do.
Great. These are all wondrous and mysterious powers that can totally be abused by anyone. That is wonderful. However, more pressing matters at hand. There are more of these. They pose a threat. What do I tell my superiors? I cannot tell them nothing.
That's fair.
We could tell them that we have discovered that we found clues of powerful artifacts that may be dangerous in the wrong hands.
Even then, though, they'll probably have questions about what they do and how we know about that. We can't
We
keep
could have.
what we are a secret, especially if we want things to get out eventually. We just have to be very careful about who knows. Who do you think is trustworthy, Michael?
Well, I'm supposed to report to my boss.
And you think you can trust her?
Honestly, I'm not sure what I can trust anymore.
Because I guarantee you, we're not the only ones who are going to have noticed this. What you're doing. The ministry will come snooping. Now,
Right, that other secret
Government?
organization.
yes, the ones that aren't always too happy about people snooping around their magic and don't care about the consequences of obliviating people.
Yeah. They get word on this, the entire organization is probably going to get obliviated.
Now, if you think Liger is trustworthy, I'm willing to let her know what I am and what I can do so we can perhaps find out if there is any spies from the ministry in there. Because, again, I can read memories. It's a very good ability for something like this.
There is one more test I would like to do.
Oh?
Michael, we could try if you can actually use this.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think that's a
I
horrible
have
idea.
never tested. I have
Would you
never
want
tested
to?
these ring hoops in a muggle before, so I have no idea if they could work.
Ah,
I value my limbs and my life.
well,
They aren't that kind of things. They work fine.
Wait a
They
minute.
don't hurt us at all.
They
Felix,
don't hurt you. I could be stuck in a time loop. I could be permanently invisible.
Felix, didn't you say that using a wand with a ring on it allowed you to actually use magic when you can't normally?
Well, I couldn't really. I can't really cast spells. I think the rings are the rings and the magic items Vienna gives me are the only really items that I can use. I can't really cast spells myself.
Well, we could test it without a wand and with a wand, giving him. I do have an extra one.
Although, I hate to say it, I would feel very uncomfortable as anyone wielding a Death Eater wand.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the second time I've heard this Death Eater thing. What is that?
The
Do
magical
they make
Nazis
people
I told you
cook
about.
themselves to death?
There's the magical Nazis I told you about.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
They're called Death Eaters. I would have.
Yes.
That's not a name I would have picked to give myself, but all right.
I don't know who picked it, but I think it was Zelita who had a flair for the dramatic, let's say.
Good.
Yeah.
Either way, wands tend to reflect the personality of their owners. So depending on the wand, it may backfire no matter who uses it. Witch or muggle.
True.
If you want to, you could use my wand.
Well, I suppose someone has to do it.
Yes, only
And you're the
muggles have
only
to
muggle we
experiment
know
on.
who knows about this stuff, so.
Great.
Don't
So-
worry. If it looks like you're going to die, I could always save you.
I don't like the way you said that. All right.
Which one would you like to try?
The one that's least likely to kill me.
Invisibility. We don't want
I
you sent back to the Dark Ages.
I give him the invisibility ring.
You just give him just
Capricorn
the
ring.
Just the hoop.
Let's put the ring on my wand and hand it to him.
What does
Fine.
the ring feel like? Is it just a hunk of metal, or is it?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Essentially, it's a piece of metal. Piece of, yeah.
All right, so we put the Capricorn on my ring and on my wand, and we hand it to Michael.
All right. You attach it to that wand. You hand the wand to Michael. Michael, you're holding a stick.
Please don't break it. It's the
Am
only
I
one I
supposed
have.
to like? Oh, so I don't
Just-
throw it. Okay.
Just try to focus on the ring.
Michael, focus. Actually, so yeah, I kind of want to see. I
He just
kind of want to see
stares
this. So how do you do? What does Michael do?
He's holding the wand, probably the correct way, because I'm sure he's seen the others hold it. But then he just stares
Stares
intently
at it. He
you.
stares at it. Michael looks like he might be a little constipated. Nothing happens.
Monsieur, what is your zodiac sign?
We said this last session. I think I'm a Taurus. A Taurus.
Taurus.
Am I supposed to
You're
wave it?
supposed to
And
be
he just does
super-
this.
Maybe it doesn't work with anyone without magic.
He just starts.
Even if you're not magic, that is still a magical item. Please don't cause it a fire.
Yeah, it's the only one I have, so.
It's still a stick, but all right.
It
I guess
is a
it doesn't
very-
work.
Do we need the Death Eater wand?
I don't
It's-
really know if we.
It is my memento of sorts.
Hmm. Alright.
Yeah.
He's a psychopath. Hey.
think
I
we
was
should
going to say
walk
to
through
help
it.
Michael out, we could break it open and show him the core.
Hmm. It's
No.
fine. I don't need it to be intact.
It's like a
It's just
lightsaber.
something I keep as a reminder. So
Me-
it could actually, it could be interesting to show him what the wand actually is made of.
Yes. If you want to learn more about it, Michael. Because
More
I'm
about
not
the
breaking
stick.
my wand. That wasn't just a stick.
You keep saying that.
Can I see
Well,
the wand?
maybe
myself?
this will prove to you that it's not just a stick. I take out the Death Eater wand, and
Can I see it, Monsieur?
of course, I
I'll
had it.
break it because I'm the strongest one to break it.
Roll a magical beast.
Magical beasts. Hey, I know that one. I have magic knowledge beasts. Yay! 14.
You examine the core. The core is reddish in color, and this is actually, I would say, relatively unusual core to be put into a Death Eater's wand. But there you have it. The core appears to be leprechaun hair.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Hey, it's red, and a bad guy uses it. It's like
It's,
Star Wars.
It's
You
leprechaun
guys
hair.
have to see Star Wars?
I actually
the
have.
red
I quite
lightsaber?
enjoy
Star Wars.
I quite enjoy
No.
Star Wars.
Oh, good one.
I was always the
Sounds like
muggle,
some
I
Star
pay
Wars.
attention. That is leprechaun hair.
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun is quite unusual, especially for a Death Eater.
Huh. That is interesting.
What's your
Like real
core, Felix?
leprechaun?
Like real leprechauns.
Roll another
Oh.
astronomy, everyone. For Felix. So you tried. Michael tried using the hoop, the Capricorn hoop, but nothing seemed to happen. He mentioned he was Taurus, and you have a Taurus hoop. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Do you have a color suit?
Okay.
Any things we have?
Almost like the GM specifically picked that hoop for your group for some reason. Almost.
Michael, I'm going to let you borrow the Taurus ring for a bit. For a moment.
Yes, you
Why?
are most compatible to that ring. It could work for you.
Oh, we're back to this again? Okay.
Yeah, Felix.
I want to learn.
Felix reluctantly hands the Taurus ring on his wand over to Michael to temporarily use.
With the wand or just the ring?
The wand as well.
Okay.
Try again. Focusing
Which
on the
one?
ring.
Focus or just throw spells?
No, focus.
Oh, okay.
Like meditation, if you've ever done meditation.
Kevin, roll a use magic item, please.
Oh, Jesus.
I believe you have a -2, but that's okay. Just roll it.
Yes, muggles. Always -2.
8 total.
Ooh, that's actually pretty good.
I know, I was actually surprised.
You're going to focus very, very hard on it, and then, like, to you, I guess it doesn't feel like it worked. It doesn't seem like it worked at all, and you're like, oh, okay, that's weird. And then, right after you finish focusing on it, Celeste will say, well, why don't we break one of the wands? Maybe you'll learn a little bit more about it. So, again, Vienno pulls out the Death Eater wand, which hasn't been snapped yet. And it looks like she's about to snap it in half. And you can't help but feel like, wait, I thought we did this already.
Alright. Alright, guys, this is really funny. How many Death Eater wands do you have?
What?
I'm sorry?
I just have that one.
You just have one.
Hey,
Oh,
question.
no. Okay.
Question. Does he have my wand and the ring still?
No, he does not.
Okay.
Right now, as far as you
Oh.
can tell, as far as you know, he still has the Capricorn ring.
Yeah.
As far as you know.
Michael, what are you talking
Very
about?
funny, guys. Very funny. Let's just all pull pranks on the muggle guy. Yeah, very funny. Alright, whose wand is this? Whose stick?
What are you talking about, monsieur?
If you look at the wand, he still has Capricorn. Because that's what you gave him.
What do you mean? You've already broken one of these wands. How many of them do you have?
What
Are
are you
they
talking
really
about?
just sticks?
I have not broken anyone's.
Yes,
Yes,
you
and
broke
that's the-
one and it
that's-
had a red core and a leprechaun hair, and I was like, leprechauns are real? And you were like, of course.
Wait, what leprechaun core?
No, it had a
What are you talking
leprechaun
about?
hair in the wand with a red core, and I made a joke about Star Wars, and someone
Break the wand.
So yeah,
I break the wand.
You break the wand, it's leprechaun hair.
Okay.
What
Michael?
happened after I broke the wand, Michael?
I don't know, you told me to take the Taurus ring and then focus on that, and then you were like, well, let's break
Michael?
another wand.
Michael,
I-
you just reversed time like a minute.
What do you mean?
You actually reverse time to everybody.
No,
And it sounds like it was way longer than 10 seconds.
that was
And
way longer than 10 seconds.
much more powerful than any of us have been able to do.
Your Taurus and oh boy, compatible rings are no joke.
Whoa.
No, even my compatibility has much more limits. Makul with compatibility has much more power.
Now that's even more terrifying, honestly.
Well, we don't know that for sure. Maybe it's just matching the sign with sign is very powerful itself.
Possibly.
Well, I am a Capricorn. I'm using a Capricorn wand. And I have only been given invisibility for 10 minutes.
Well, maybe it's not as long as for other people.
Is it possible it's Michael?
Yeah,
Nope.
you know, maybe
No, it is not possible that it is.
maybe the 10 minutes for the Capricorn is very long for you what it can usually do. Maybe it can only do it for like a minute usually.
No, it can do much better with everybody else, even 5 minutes to 3 minutes. No, this is something completely different. This is...
I'm pretty sure it's
Vira's
exactly the same.
Vira's eyes are
and-
sparkling right now. Yes.
This is very fascinating. It's also very terrifying. If muggles find these things and don't know what they're dealing with, catastrophe could reign.
So they should be destroyed. Excellent. We're all
If-
in agreement.
At
no.
the very
No, no, no,
least,
no, 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 no,
locked
no.
up somewhere where not
No.
just anybody can use them.
Like space.
I don't know about space, but
I want
I mean-
to learn more about these rings.
Yeah,
For
they're
example,
not
who
too-
made them?
I don't think these rings are evil. I think they're just they can be a
Right.
bit powerful.
Guns
I mean-
aren't evil. Bombs aren't evil. People are evil.
exactly.
We
And
limit the hell out of those, and look at what's happened still. We need
Do
to
you?
limit the
Yeah,
hell
we-
out of these.
from what I understand, America's actually quite lax on gun laws.
Yeah.
Yes, at
Yeah,
home.
and it's
Sorry.
terrifying.
Yes, at home. They're much more stricter with
Look.
weapons than if they
Yeah,
are
I'm
here.
not saying we should just hand these out to anybody who wants, but they can provide some use
Mhm.
to people who can be trusted with them.
Perhaps they could even save lives. We know one is good for healing.
Yeah,
That's
and
very
look-
good.
the Taurus ring has a ton of use. It can be a godsend in emergency situations.
Mm,
Sometimes a split second extra time in reaction can be life saving for so many people.
Yeah, that's why I think I'm going to keep keep a hold of the Taurus ring for now.
At the very
well, I
least,
don't want it.
I do think they should at least be kept somewhere safe away from the general public.
All right. Yeah.
That much I definitely believe. Keep them
Yes.
locked up somewhere where they can be researched safely and their use can be monitored.
So we'll end that scene there. Interesting stuff.
I would like to talk to Rodney.
Sure. We're gonna say that you've come back from your most recent adventure, and you're gonna come inside, and I'm gonna say that Rodney's watching TV. He's got some Chinese food that he's eating out of a takeout box. So he's having some lo mein, slurping it up, and he says, "Oh, hey, dude.
Hey, Rodney.
Felix, how was your trip, man?"
It was very interesting. I'll say that much for at least.
Where'd you go, anyway? You've been gone for a couple days.
Yeah, my job took me down to Portugal. Yeah.
Portugal? What's in Portugal?
Some important people that I needed to talk to.
Where exactly is Portugal?
It's a bit of west of Spain.
Oh. So, what were you doing all the way over there?
Well, my job has me traveling all over, just talking to people, helping out a bit. It's very complicated stuff. What have you been up to?
Oh man, big news, he says as he turns down the volume. Your roommate just got himself a new job.
Oh?
Oh yeah, I'm working over at the coffee shop down the street.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, tips are actually pretty good. And the best part is, every Friday night, they've got like this open mic night and everything. And sometimes, like in between shifts, I actually can pull out my guitar and, play a few tunes. Rodney actually is a decent singer, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Relatively decent singer.
Oh, that's
and
pretty cool.
musician. Yeah, I mean, I've been getting some good money for that. Pretty soon, I'm gonna have my dream machine car, and you and I can go joyriding for some babes.
We'll see about that last part, but I wouldn't mind going on a ride occasionally. But that's pretty cool, Rodney. Way to go!
Yeah, thanks. I was a little unsure about whether or not this place was gonna be as good of a fit as New Orleans, but so far I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Although the people here are really, fast-paced.
Yeah. I do admit that I miss New Orleans a lot as well. It's always going to be home for me, but this place has been pretty decent so far. And
That's good.
gotten some good opportunities here.
Yeah. So what else is new with you? I feel like, I don't know, you're always busy all the time. I hardly get to see you.
Oh, just some stuff. Making friends at the new job,
Anyone cute?
Felix is actually going to pause and freeze up for a second. Never mind. Yeah, it's nothing. Felix is just gonna. Hey, you want to watch Star Wars again?
Star Wars! Man, that takes me back. Oh, I love that movie. Oh man, just as much as my good friend Levi loves that movie.
You.
Actually, I haven't really heard from Levi in quite some time. I keep calling, but his voice message box has been full for ages now.
Well, maybe he lost his phone.
I guess he's just super busy over at school.
Oh. He's still in school?
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, it's November.
Oh, I just meant that your friend was still in high school?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's gone to some boarding school of some sort.
Oh.
We're a few years apart. I'm a little older than he is. But,
I gotcha. Well, I'll see about making myself something to eat. We can get to watching some Star Wars. But I am really glad that you're doing things are looking up for you, Rodney.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Things are pretty good. Things are looking up. I'm meeting a lot of really cool people. The barista that I work with, she's cute and all. But the weirdest thing happened. This random guy tried to pick me up.
Oh? Some random-
Yeah, it was really kind of weirding me out a little bit. He asked me, like, what was my sign and everything. And I was like, oh, dude, like, I'm sorry, but you're kind of barking up the wrong tree here.
Your sign? Why would you...
Yeah.
What was this guy like, Rodney?
Oh, man. I mean, he was dressed really funny. Like, darkish clothes. I mean, I guess he probably was one of those goth people or something. I don't know. I think he was sort of our age. Can't really tell. And he spoke with a really funny accent, too.
Our age?
Really, like, almost like he was, I don't know, harsh. One of those harsh accents.
Like,
I don't know.
German? Russian?
Maybe German or Russian. I couldn't tell.
So very...
Yeah, I mean, he asked me my sign, and I told him, and I was like, but I think you're barking up the wrong tree, and he was like, that's all right, and we just started talking, and I don't know. He seemed like a cool enough guy, but I'm not really interested in that way. But anyway, it was just really weird and random.
Yeah.
Especially for someone that I don't really see around these parts with that kind of accent.
Well, fair enough. Hey, Rodney, I just want to say thanks for taking me in over a year ago when you first found me. I was a bit in between places at the time, and you offering me the room was really helpful.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it would have been really awesome if it was a girl, but no, you're cool. You're cool. I've enjoyed our time hanging out, and I mean, since Levi's stopped calling me and stuff, you pretty much have been the only friend I've had in a long time.
Well, Rodney, I guess you're kind of my best friend, so I really appreciate it.
Dude, really?
Yeah, really.
I'm your best friend? Oh, man. I didn't know that.
Well, you kind of have to be at this point. I think I'm going to call that scene there, but that was...
Yeah. Rigel is going to be at her office. We're just going to pick some arbitrary day that this happens after you return back from your trip.
Right.
And she is looking through some documents, and she's going to look up at you immediately, and she'll place the documents on her desk, and she'll say, Agent Polaris. Welcome back from the Philippines, I presume?
Yes, ma'am.
How did that go?
It was rather interesting.
I saw that you had incarcerated someone from there. The reports claim that he is a vampire.
Yes, ma'am. Ever since we started going on these strange missions, we've only run into stranger and stranger people. I'm not entirely sure if what they claim to be is true, but since we locked them up, I mean, it's better that they are away from the general public. That is both the woman and the vampire we just brought in.
Yes, the hag. In addition to the hag's relatives, whom we actually were able to find shortly after your initial investigation there, thanks to your tip.
Excellent. I'm not entirely sure what a hag is still, but we do know that they are cannibals. And, well, I'd prefer cannibals to be locked up than roaming the streets.
Indeed. Regardless of what they believe they are, they still committed some very heinous crimes. Murder in general is not something to be tolerated. The murder of children, in particular, I have a very sensitive spot for.
Understandable, ma'am.
Most people do.
Yes. But we didn't only just pick up some interesting people.
Oh?
Yes. Right now they're down in the lab, but we picked up some interesting artifacts as well.
What sort of artifacts?
Honestly, ma'am, I'm not an expert on most technological things, but they're very peculiar in that they seem to do strange, almost, one would almost say magical things. I'm still not entirely sure on how it works or what triggers these events. But honestly, ma'am, I've never seen it.
When you say magical things, are we saying dangerous magical things?
Michael will turn around and make sure that the door is closed. Honestly, I see them as a threat. But my colleagues who helped discover and allocate these items think that more testing should be done before we fully determine whether these are indeed dangerous.
So what exactly do these things, artifacts, do then? Are they weapons?
Not necessarily. Specifically one, we recovered a strange hoop ring. It was messing with... There's no easy way to say this. It's messing with time, ma'am. Things... Do you know what a déjà vu is?
Yes, I'm aware.
Yes. Well, as we were traversing through this village, we would see the same birds fly across. Someone hit a ball and hit one of my friends, and then the ball was hit again and it came back.
You're pretty sure this wasn't just merely a figment of your imagination.
Honestly, if it had only happened the one time, I wouldn't have even brought it up to you. But it has happened multiple times.
So you're saying that some object of there can manipulate time?
That is correct. As far as I've seen, it's only been a couple seconds, a minute at most. But who knows what the potential could be.
I have to admit, such a thing does pique my curiosity. At the same time, I am very fearful of how it would be used, assuming what you say is true.
I agree. Who knows? That is not the only artifact we have found, though. It's a little bit easier to explain than time manipulation. But there's one that makes an individual invisible. I don't know if it's some sort of cloaking device or, like mirrors or whatever, like they show in the movies, but it can make an individual invisible.
The things you say definitely sound very fantastical.
I agree.
Of course, when we all agreed to join this division, we agreed to keep an open mind because we wanted to seek out the truth. Are you convinced that these are actual truthful proof that magic does exist?
I wouldn't say definitively, because I am not entirely sure how these things work. It could just be a trick. I'm not entirely sure how. Maybe science with agent on attack, yes. Maybe some of the smarter people can figure out exactly how this operates. and can shed more light on the situation at hand.
It's sounding like, though, that you are finding people who supposedly are very much in tune with these magical artifacts, as you say. I'm wondering if these items are the source of the magic.
For that, I'm not certain.
These people that you have been finding, many of them seems to be a threat.
Yes, they are definitely a danger to society.
What do you think we should do about that, then? It seems like we've started to shake the tree and a lot of hornets are starting to come out. Do you think that we should begin talking about serious plans of extracting the nest itself?
I do. However, I believe we still need to be cautious and keep to the shadows. These artifacts and people have been around. Well, it seems like they've been around for a while. I mean, if something like that can ingrain itself into the place in Thailand and continuously react, it wouldn't just catch our attention. There might be others.
Is this something that you think that we might have to reveal to leadership, government officials in the near future?
In the near future, yes. As of right now, I would be fearful for your career if you walked into a room and said, "We have a device that can turn back time."
Yes, unless we have proof. And it sounds like we might have that.
We are definitely on the verge. I would also wish it to be safe, because leadership would definitely wish to see it in action.
Oh, I'm sure they will. And if they find these magic items useful, I'm sure they would be very interested in not destroying them. We need to tread carefully, Agent Polaris. We have a responsibility to keep our country safe. But I must warn you, that might also mean that we have a responsibility to keep the country safe from itself.
I'm inclined to agree with you. Honestly, when my companions came to me asking for further study, I suggested that we just outright destroy them and just forget they ever existed. But maybe more studying and keeping it hidden for the time being is the best course of action.
What about all of these other magical beings that we've been finding? There seem to be quite a crew of them, all over the world even.
I believe further investigation is definitely needed. When it comes to the ones that we have found, maybe some semblance of justice should be had, especially against the cannibals.
Are you saying we need to make an example out of them?
Honestly, ma'am, I'm not sure. They are cannibals. If this was a normal court, how would that be treated?
If you have people that can turn invisible and people who can manipulate time, I'm not sure if putting them through the court system is going to be effective.
I wouldn't suggest putting them through general public. At least for the time, they still do have some rights. Do they not?
I just am not sure if we're equipped to legally determine anything with them.
Of course. I still think we need to follow up on these leads, because it seems every time we follow up on one of these leads, something unexplainable happens. Either we find a new oddity, or there's a bad person or bad people that need to be taken in. So I think it's in our best interest to keep up the additions.
Say you continue with the agents and you continue to find these oddities and ones that could definitely be extremely dangerous or detrimental to the security of our nation. What do you think we ultimately should do? Do you think that locking them up as we find them is sufficient? Or do you think that we need to take more drastic measures? We are in a very small force, and if there are people around this world, other cannibals, other vampires all over the world, just us and only us ourselves aren't going to make much of a dent if this world is as large as I'm thinking it's becoming.
Yes, we are definitely a small force. I think it would be in our best interest to find more evidence on the scope of these magical creatures. Are they just spotted around the globe, or is there some semblance of civilization among them that they adhere to?
I think that if we find out that there is something out there that is a threat, that the general public has a right to know about it.
I agree.
What exactly did you end up telling the mother who lost her child to the cannibals?
We covered it up, ma'am. We said that the child was kidnapped and it met an unfortunate end at the kidnapper's hands. It was definitely not something that I'd wish to ever do again.
I only ask because if we continue to find crimes such as this, how long do we continue to cover things up?
We had to make a split decision in that moment, because I was definitely not prepared for cannibals, especially ones that claim to be hags. I don't think that would have provided the mother with any comfort. But going forward, I think it just depends on how much proof we've collected. Once we find it sufficient, maybe then it would be in our best interest.
If they claim to be hags and if they claim to be vampires, what do you think about the prospect of finding out biologically?
That would definitely add to the evidence for or against, especially that vampire one.
Do you think that Agent Alnalam will agree to such a thing? Out of character, you know what she's suggesting. She's suggesting running experiments on them. Like, because if they're not human, then
Yeah.
So that's she's dancing around it, but that's essentially what she's saying.
Onalam is definitely a curious sort. He likes to find out the truth in things and take things apart. But I've never seen how deep his curiosity can go as far as experimenting on live subjects that could be pushing it.
Very well. If you prefer that they just remain in the circle, that's fine.
Perhaps some simple testing. Some blood testing. Urinalysis, blood, DNA. If something's definitely up with these vampires or hags, maybe there's something that we can find out. Some more scientific proof.
I'm thinking that if these beings are not exactly completely human, it would be nice to find out if they used to be human and how they became non-human. That is the only way that I can think of determining those details.
I believe that is definitely a possibility. We could also ask if you believe that they could be truthful.
Well, that is ultimately what our goal is to find the truth. Whether or not the methods sit well with you is another thing, however. But that is ultimately what we are trying to do.
Honestly, ma'am, you've given me a lot to think about.
I am not on the field. I have not seen what you've seen. So, if you think what you are doing is enough, then for now, I will abide by your thoughts. But if you believe that there is benefit, not only to this country, but all over the world, to really seek out and determine everything that we can from these people, then I would definitely consider it.
I thank you for your trust in me, ma'am. We just need to explore more. Find out how deep this hole goes.
Very well. Is there anything else, Agent Polaris?
No, ma'am.
All right then. You are dismissed.
I wanted to go and talk to Felix in private.
All
right.
right.
I'd go over to wherever his apartment is and knock on the door.
He'll open the door and say, Celeste?
Yes, I was hoping I could talk to you for a while.
Oh, well. Come on in then.
Thanks.
Felix will lead her in a bit awkwardly, not really having expected to have guests today, or a guest from a guest visit from a coworker. So
I'm gonna say that Rodney is going to be at the apartment as well.
Great.
He's probably gonna come from the bathroom, and I think he's just gonna be like brushing his teeth. And Rodney is... What time of day is it? Just out of curiosity, Celeste.
She probably would have come in the afternoon sometime.
Alright, I'm gonna say Rodney is still in his PJs. Maybe he woke up late, long day at the coffee shop or whatever. He's got PJs and he's got those bunny slippers on his feet. One of them's missing an eye. They're relatively old, but they're probably super comfy. And he kind of goes, "Whoa," he says with the toothbrush still in his mouth.
hey, hello, hey Rodney. My coworker has come to visit to talk about something apparently.
Oh yeah, he says as some of the toothpaste is drizzling down his chin. I remember you. How could I forget that pretty face?
Not as charming as ever, Rodney. Unfortunately, I do need to speak with Felix alone, if that's alright.
Oh, all right. He says, looking at Felix. Well.
Felix is just having his face in his hand and shaking his head. I like that, Rodney.
He says, Well, I'm just gonna be in my room then. So,
Actually, I'd prefer it if you didn't overhear us, if that's alright. She's definitely playing it up too.
So what are you suggesting?
There's a nice little donut shop down the way. You should go get yourself some donuts.
Oh man, am I seriously getting kicked out of my own apartment?
We'll put one of his ties on the doorknob to let you know when it's safe to come back.
Felix
is just giving her a stink eye right now because,
Felix, you're lucky that you told me you were my best friend. Because I wouldn't be doing this for anyone but my best friends.
It's not like that, Rodney.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So let me just do something real quick before I leave. Hi, I, the great Rodney Swami, see you two. He says, in a big house with a beautiful white picket fence.
No, stop.
With
Stop.
2, 5, 7 kids.
Stop
And then-
trying to act like me.
The dog and the cat and maybe like a ferret or something. Yeah, ferret. Who, by the way, you named after me, Rodney, your best friend. And I see the two of you living happily ever after in some sort of honestly, you'll start off in some sort of trailer park, but then she's gonna get a really awesome, high-paying, highbrow job, which will eventually get you off of that trailer park and into a townhouse in the suburbs.
Rodney. And Rodney's going. Felix is going to put his arm around Rodney's shoulder, start walking over. Okay,
What?
Rodney, please stop. She's not the one I'm interested in. And please get those donuts now.
I'm just trying to show that I appreciate your hobbies and your career choices. I'm trying to be supportive here by telling you that I read up a little bit of this tarot stuff, and he holds up like a tarot book.
Tarot. I appreciate that, Rodney. I really, really do. But you're making me a bit uncomfortable right now.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. You keep playing hard to get, because I know that that's your style. So I'm gonna see you. I'll give you 2 hours, maybe. I'll be back in 2 hours.
All right, fine, go.
Okay. I'll bring you back custard or jelly filled or one of those cake donuts you like or something.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. You're the best, Rodney.
He looks over at Celeste and he kind of gives a like a wink before he closes the door. Still in his bunny slippers and his PJs.
She just looks at Felix looking very amused. Probably wearing like a massive sun hat and sunglasses too.
Sorry, you like me.
I did not realize you would take it that far.
Yeah, neither did I. I really should have expected that. All right, so what did you want to talk about?
Well, a lot of the things that have been happening lately.
Yeah.
We both
lot.
know what we are.
No, he doesn't know anything about that. I haven't told him yet.
You and me know what each other are.
Wait, what?
You know that I'm a vampire, I know that you're a seer and a wizard.
Yes, we know.
We want to talk about that.
All right. Yeah, we probably should talk about that. No, I don't really. I think we already discussed that a bit, but what exactly about that do you want to talk about?
I'm very curious about your abilities. I've always heard of seers, but I've never met one before. All the ones I know
Oh.
who claim to be one have been hacks.
Yeah, well, it's a very rare ability, and even by seer standards, I'm a bit unusual.
You understand why I didn't want to get my fortune read when we first met. Very much afraid you'd find out what it was.
Well, I didn't. No. When we first met, I did get a vision where vampires were in it, so...
No, I'm very curious. You're willing to expose the wizarding world to the muggles? What I want to know is where you see that ending.
Honestly, I can see this ending in many ways. It could end badly, it could end well, but what I want to do is I want to change the world for the better. I think we need to do this the right way, where with the least amount of deaths. And I don't want a war. I want to try to stop. I don't want a war between the human world and the muggle world, but all-out war. It's hard to explain.
I understand.
I want the best case scenario, and I'm willing to work hard for that.
In that best case scenario, where would you see the ministry?
Well, honestly, I'm hoping for a lot of reform, because I see a lot of flaws in the ministry right now. But I also see a lot of flaws in the nomad governments as well. I'm hoping that this change will force people to have to start changing themselves as well. The fact that they'll have to deal with this other world will have to force them to have to change the way they go about things. I want change, and that's going to need and there's going to need to be a lot of change.
And where do you see people like me in that change? The vampires, the werewolves.
Honestly, I've rarely met vampires or werewolves. I'm just ashamed to say that I rarely gave it too much thought. Really, I know of house elves and stuff like that, and I'm horrified about that. There are a lot of things that horrify me about the world I live in, and I feel need to change. But I can say that I am now thinking a lot about this. Finding out that you're a vampire has made me think about things that I didn't before.
I asked Michael this once, and his answer wasn't very clear, so I'll ask you. Are you afraid of me?
No, I'm not afraid of you. I'm afraid... Well, let's say this. I'm no more afraid of you than I'm afraid of anyone with Michael, because he has a gun. Because he doesn't choose to shoot me. He chooses not to shoot me, and you choose not to kill me. It's like any person with the power to kill. I think we all have our choices, and I try not to judge people by what they can do, but by they choose to do.
Then I have a lot of respect for you for that.
I'm a very weird person, though, so you shouldn't think of me as the standard.
Oh, trust me, I don't. No, the fact is, Orion is not the only group I work with.
Yeah, I believe you mentioned something about a revolution.
Right. And we're growing.
What
I want to see the ministry end.
What do you mean by end?
Get rid of it. Have a new governing system. One that consists of muggles, wizards, vampires, werewolves.
Well, that would be nice. I just hope the way you get to that isn't too awful.
So do I. That's why I'm on Orion. My goal is to help the muggles find out about magic and perhaps find a way to put it in peace. But we are willing to fight for what we want.
I can't say I'll fight for revolution, but I'll fight for change. I'll fight for a lot of things. And I'll fight for what I believe will be the best for... I can't say I'll directly fight in your revolution, but I do believe the ministry needs to change. And if it needs to be broken down, then that may be necessary. I just hope it doesn't have to come to a loss of life.
So do I. But I've very rarely known of a change in government that hasn't resulted in blood.
Well, who knows? Maybe we'll be the first. He chuckles a little grimly, as he really doesn't even believe his own words, and he's just like... He's gone a little pale as he's just thinking about the full weight of everything on him. Yeah.
I was actually coming here hoping to get my fortune read now. Now that I don't have any secrets to hide.
Well, alright then. Let's get my mind off of all those horrifying thoughts and get to this. Felix is going to take a seat on the couch and is going to pull up a chair for Celeste and is going to pull out his real crystal ball. All right, let's see what fate has in store for you. And I'm going to roll divination if that's okay. That's a 16 total.
I'm going to say that maybe on the desk somewhere, Rodney has some sort of desk calendar, the type where you rip off a page each day. We'll say that he's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. So he's got a Buffy the Vampire Slayer, how fitting, daily calendar that has like different quotes and stuff from the show and things like that. And you see that the dates fall faster and faster and faster, rip, until it ends on December 31st, which is New Year's Eve. The papers that were ripped off of the calendar starts to fly around. That's right, it is Y2K.
Yeah.
That's right. It starts to fly around and it begins to form the Ministry of Magic emblem. All of the pieces of paper form the Ministry of Magic emblem. You're going to see the images, the ghostly images of Celeste, Vienno, yourself, and Michael. They seem to be in conversation with these 4 other images, which appear to be some more people that are high school age. 4 people that are high school age.
Do I recognize them?
You recognize them as the people that you saw in your vision.
Oh boy.
That is the vision that you see.
Well, oh, that is quite something. That actually makes me feel a bit better. Well, Celeste, I can safely say that that whatever our destiny comes, something of great importance involving the ministry will happen on the 31st of December.
Oh,
New Year's Eve.
that's not very far away now.
Oh, yes.
It's November right now.
And I think we're going to be making some new friends. Some people I've been wanting to know for a while.
Are these the ones you wanted to put that thing in the school for?
The ones I'm supposed to lead the map for. Oh, I can't wait to meet them. I have been wanting to know more about these people for 9 years. Can you believe that?
I can't, actually.
I don't
Well,
know.
oddly enough, I think I'm starting to believe in a thing called fate.
Well,
If thus far so important.
well, here's an interesting thing is sometimes we guide fate. We guide our own fate, and sometimes fate guides us.
And sometimes we can smack fate in the face. But, yes.
Hey, mind if I ask you one question?
Go ahead.
Completely unrelated. You know Agent Scythe, right? You're
talked.
friends with her?
We talk at lunchtime. Not particularly close.
Do you know if she's single?
I could find out.
Well, Felix blushes a little. Yeah, that's okay. I can find out myself.
Really? You don't always seem too comfortable at the idea of talking to girls.
I can, okay. Rodney just flusters me sometimes.
Really? The hag seemed to fluster you too.
That was extenuating circumstances based off of her having eaten a child and was getting way too close to my space. Felix is getting very, very defensive right now.
She's gonna lean in a little bit. Is that so? Don't worry, you're too young for me. She'll just tell Rodney hi for me.
All right.